From the fiery crucible of their amateur rivalry to the climactic showdown in the heavyweight ring, watch as Tyson's wrath ignites a brutal spectacle like never before. Can Tyson's fury be contained, or will it consume everything in its path? Brace yourself for a roller coaster of emotions and witness a gripping display of unforgiving redemption in the clash of the Titans. Mike Tyson, at the prime of his career, gave off the menacing aura that he disliked every one of his opponents before the bell rang. However, the heavyweight stated that there was only one opponent who he despised. "I have never had a true hatred for someone. I think I hate Tyrell Biggs," Iron Mike growled before their bout for the world title in 1987. "I want to teach him a lesson, and I want to hurt him very badly at the same time." The 21-year-old Tyson had the intention of inflicting damage on each of his opponents, but in reality, they were all merely barriers on his path to becoming the undisputed champion of the weight class. Tyson's mentor, Gus D'Amato, instilled in him the qualities of single-mindedness and the ability to employ intimidation as a weapon, but they were never to be taken personally, except in the case of Biggs. Tyson, one of the most deadly finishers when he had an opponent hurt, confesses that he purposefully dragged Biggs, extending a torturous thrashing until the end of the 7th round before finally dropping his bruised and battered opponent to the ground. Biggs was knocked out by Tyson at the end of the 7th round. In the 3rd round, "I knew I had him," claimed Tyson after the bout. "I had him. He was shedding tears. I started pounding him in the body, and he was making noises that sounded like a woman wailing the whole time." After the 3rd round, I had multiple opportunities to knock him out. However, I was determined to get him to pay for what he had said. Biggs pretended to be perplexed by the fact that Tyson had such poisonous animosity towards him, claiming that he had not said anything that should have irritated Tyson. "All I did was say that I was sure I could win against him, and that was it." However, on some level, Biggs was likely aware of what was going on here. It all dated back to the pair's days as amateur boxers, as is the case with many personal grudges in the sport of boxing. Biggs was a fluid, rangy 6'5" boxer who would go on to win a gold medal in the LA Olympics in 1984. During their time together on the U.S. team, Biggs was regarded as the squad's golden boy. Because Biggs was so dominant in the super heavyweight division, Tyson was forced to participate in the heavyweight divisions of the amateur circuit, below 91 kilograms. A young Mike Tyson's Olympic hopes were dashed when he was defeated by Henry Tillman in a boxing competition held in the United States. In a fit of passion, Tyson stormed out of the building where the trials were being held and began punching and kicking a tree trunk outside the building. However, it was Biggs who Iron Mike thought belittled him, not Tillman, whom Tyson would go on to knock out in the 1st round as a professional. Biggs, who was 5 years older than Tyson, made fun of the Brooklyn puncher for his lack of height and his poor skills. Even though he did not make it to the Olympics, Tyson went to Los Angeles with the United States squad to gather experience. Biggs' response was, "What?" when a well-meaning fan saw the boxing squad at the airport and wished Tyson luck in his fight. "You are referring to him during his flight, not his fight, right? He will not be competing in the Olympic tournament." After 3 years, when the two were finally going to face one another as pros, an enraged Tyson had not forgotten. "Shit like that stayed with me then," he writes in his memoirs, Undisputed Truth. "I put in a ton of work. The thought of giving him the boot inspired me. Even the thought of talking about this battle makes me uncomfortable. It consisted of 7 rounds of discipline. After the round was over, I gave him some elbows, some low blows, and some punches." By 1987, both of their positions in the boxing world had been completely reversed from what they had been. Both fighters had a perfect round, but in a whirlwind 2.5 years as a professional, Mike Tyson had amassed all of the major heavyweight titles, except the linear champion Michael Spinks, who had not yet been vanquished. Biggs had a perfect record of 15-0, but his stick-and-move fighting style had failed to excite fans. In addition, his career had been disrupted by trips to rehab for substance abuse issues, as was the case with many American heavyweights of the era. Despite this, Biggs had no trouble assuming the position of Tyson's superior during the pre-fight build-up, just as he had done before when they were both amateurs. The 26-year-old competitor addressed his adversary as "our little pal" and said, "I'm not here to lay down." Because Mike Tyson is also a man, I do not feel threatened by him. In addition to that, he is 5 foot 8 inches tall and weighs 220 pounds. whereas I am 6 feet 5 inches tall and weigh 225 pounds. The official listing of Tyson's height was little less than 6 feet, but the tongue-in-cheek Biggs wasn't the only one to doubt it. Many people believed that the musculous, sawed-off champion was closer to 5 feet 10 inches tall. Biggs appeared to be shocked by the fact that his opponent, who possessed such a diverse boxing skill set, was the underdog. He then addressed the reporters and stated, "I don't know this Tyson the way you guys talk about him. I've known Tyson since the beginning of time. He's never faced somebody like me before, someone who can box, has a powerful jab, and isn't just going in there to survive." Despite Tyson's remarkable knockout power, 2 of his most recent 3 opponents had succeeded in sabotaging their chances of winning a decision after 12 rounds. There was a growing trend in the media to cast doubt on Tyson's abilities. "I got flaws? Then find someone who can beat me," Tyson shot back, challenging his opponent's ability to even challenge the legitimacy of his strength. When Tyson made his way to the ring in Atlantic City to fight Biggs, he was shirtless with his title belts and wet in sweat. All of this added to the powder keg of wrath that was Kid Dynamite at the time. Biggs was able to execute his strategy well during the opening round of the fight as he glided around the ring and landed 19 punches to Tyson's face. Unluckily for Biggs, the victory in the first round was the only one he would take home all night. In the second round, Tyson began to catch his opponent clean after cutting off the ring and exerting pressure. By the third round, Biggs had a gash above his eye and was gushing from the lips. However, instead of going for the knockout like he did when he fought Trevor Berbick to win the heavyweight title in 1986, Tyson prolonged the hammering and softened up Biggs with crunching body blows. This allowed Tyson to win the heavyweight title. To his credit, Biggs displayed an incredible amount of bravery by accepting the punishment. He was even able to get up after suffering the long-awaited first knockdown, which was caused by an explosive left hook in the 7th round. However, Tyson's follow-up assault left him collapsed in his corner, and the referee waved off the fight at that point. Even Tyson's detractors were forced to concede that he was the real deal after he put on such a spectacular performance against an Olympic standout who had never been defeated. Within a year, he had destroyed Larry Holmes, Tony Tubbs, and Spinks in a combined 91 seconds, removing any questions about his stature as the best heavyweight on the planet. Biggs, on the other hand, would finish his career with a record of 15-9 before calling it quits in 1998, with the loss to Tyson serving as his last opportunity to fight for a world title. Tyson faced out against several other competitors. He had a falling out with Mitch Blood Green, even though their animosity toward one another began inexplicably after they had fought in the ring against one another when they came to blows in a street brawl. He also bit Evander Holyfield's ear and Lennox Lewis's leg. However, it appeared as though Tyson was engaged in a conflict with himself just as much as he was harboring genuine anger for an adversary. When it came to one competitor, things became very personal. After he had finished his beating of Biggs, Tyson stated about Biggs, "He talked so much, he didn't show any class or respect. I intended to force him to make a sacrifice for his health. He did." That's all for the video today. We'll be right back with more. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.